I'm expecting nothing less, because I think that Toronto Ultra right now are the most complete team, but here we go. Map number 1, Hotel.
And we look through the eyes of the rookie in Scrappy. I want to say first match on the main stage. This is where you prove it. You prove it for your team. You prove it in the rivalry as we fly in for Hotel. Rokkr spawning on the more preferred side, at least for P1, but it's Toronto cleaning house ever since.
Oh, and CleanX, he was able to find 3 right off the rip with a couple more bullets right there. He's able to potentially pick up that ace to start off the game. Toronto Ultra did not spawn on the better side, but they're getting a good amount of time off of this P1. They're more focused on this rotation, so Afro and Attach are able to get 2. They should be able to get the remaining 20 seconds of time, and just pay attention to your mini-map. Afro already slips through towards the back of that P2. Now you have to worry about him if you are inside.
And really, that's going to be a player that you have to worry about here, Toronto Ultra, throughout the entirety of this series, buddy. As Scrappy does a great job, at least to try to find a few kills inside of the point. Meanwhile, it is his AR duo in Insight. Trying to lock down spawns, able to find 1-on-2 Attach. Meanwhile, CleanX doing a great job on the other side as well. Insight doing what he needs to, but here come Minnesota, not checking their side. It's so weird to see Insight firing away at Cammy, but it is gonna be Minnesota with a clean 4 down.
And Afro was the only player who didn't drop in that scenario. He stays alive. Big gunfight from Cammy to win that gunfight onto Insight. Now they are in control of the spawns. Final 35 seconds. Insight with a great shot. That's going to be 3 dead. They're still in the back. If you are going to be Minnesota Rokkr, but now with that final kill, Toronto Ultra, with this final 30, are going to be able to take the lead right on back. But now this allows Minnesota to get fully set up for this Kitchen Hill.
Yeah, so when we talk about, prior titles, Vanguard to MW2, a totally different scenario in terms of really what you want to do on the map. Final 20 seconds? No, we're not hitting scrap. In fact, we're rotating even earlier than that. As we'll see the rotations now being bound here for Rokkr. They get broken late, and now it's time to set up over at the Kitchen. One of the better hills here when we talk about Hotel Hardpoint. See how Rokkr bend to lock it down, and more specifically how Toronto bend to try to break this. CleanX bruised and battered toward the front. Thankfully, he does have Scrappy just behind him. Attach starts things off with a pick for Rokkr. And Scrappy and Standy, well, it's that dynamic duo causing problems already.
And now there's only 2 more players from Minnesota in this position. Unfortunately, Scrap does find a team kill on to CleanX. You're not going to be able to win that trade gunfight. You're taking on your own squad, but now it's all up to Insight. He picks up 2. Unfortunately, the trade is going to be in. So Minnesota holds strong on the first push. And that's Attack 56. Attach, you saw what he did last series. 1.5. He's not trying to slow down now.
Final 2 seconds, still fighting for scraps. Meanwhile, it is the rotation. It appears that a few Toronto players still trying to go for this. It is a neck-and-neck game. Toronto angry that they weren't able to break it previously. Well, hey, they eventually do manage to jump on in toward the Kitchen, grab those final 10. Well, we are over and headed now to the bar. Basically what we expected, buddy. I know we're only a few hills in, but it couldn't get much closer than this.
Yeah, it's a back-and-forth game to start us off. A couple rotation gunfights are going to go in favor of Toronto, and I thought Minnesota put themselves in a great position off that rotation. You have the back spawns, but Toronto just fly on through the front side. Now the first 10 is going to be uncontested. Scrap with another team kill on the CleanX. Does he not like his teammate? What's going on? But that's going to be 3 dead in the feed. Now the spawns do flip. Minnesota have to break the front.
And we'll see what Cammy can try to do. Again, just so many of those purple arrows to try to face off against, and he eventually does get dropped. It looks like a clean hold right now from the Ultra. And yeah, it's just so hard to break into that, Jamin. And you got a few players hanging out on those head glitches. The Vaznevs have come out to play. The only thing that can really eventually take them down is going to be the trophy. But a solid hold there for Ultra as now they find themselves up big going into next.
Oh, and Ultra can start to pull away with this game because they do have a couple players already off the rotation towards Diner. Insight with attack 56. He's going to get help from Standy watching Carpets. Unfortunately, he is not watching the connector. So he's going to at least lose that initial gunfight. Afro trying to cause problems through mid Carpets. He's able to find 2. Cammy with the 3rd. All left up to Insight, and another team kill for Toronto is now going to allow Minnesota to get fully set up.
You have to wonder a little bit if some of those jitters are starting to get involved here for this Ultra team. I know that they do find themselves up big, but those few team kills mean absolutely everything here in MW2 for how valuable that your life now is. It is giving Rokkr a bit of a foothold in this game.
Now the final 30. Trades going back and forth, but Minnesota are still able to come out on top. Big 25. They're in control of spawns going into the next hill, which is going to be towards top plat. You have one player in Standy trying to be the route man. Works his way through bottom middle. Couches, they're still going to put a lot of pressure on. They do not want to give this remaining junk time. 2v2. Now left up all to Afro, and he's having himself one hell of a map. 14 and 8. start us off on a 3 spree. Finds another one on the inside.
And you see him, man, he's getting involved. He's getting hyped in the camera feed as well. That is, without a doubt, Rokkr, the player that you're looking out for. If you're a fan of this team, you are hoping that he has a pop-off kind of series. And one thing to add to this, Jay, as we head toward P5, there was some drama during the offseason. It was rumored that Afro might actually be going to the Toronto Ultra. In fact, he finds himself on Minnesota instead. So just one of the many layers of a very interesting battle, a very interesting rivalry between both of these franchises. Cammy's hitting beams from afar, and it has been all sunny skies so far for Minnesota here at the parking lot attached. Well, he's just hanging out, waiting for any bit of negativity, of any bit of pressure to start to come through. A little bit of that starts to come in, but Standy eventually does fall. Rokkr clean house at the end of the day. Cammy starting to hit some shots with attacking range.
That was a beautiful hole right there for Minnesota to give themselves a nice little comfortable lead. Now, if you're thinking big picture, you want to control the spawns for the P2 side. That's why you see Bans pushing out towards Jules. Early sitting at 8 and 16, but he's the playmaker for this squad. Fortunately, loses that gunfight to Scrap, but just can't allow Toronto to get back into this game off of a lot of P1 time. The spawns are going to flip once again. And now, if you're Ultra, you're just trying to keep them off.
Yeah, if you're Ultra, just play this one carefully. The first 20 seconds are already done and dusted. Make sure you don't give anything away for free. Rokkr with the advantage in terms of the score, but Toronto with the map positioning. Standy trying to have his own impact as he has been really the guy alongside of Scrappy. So far for Toronto, a big position where he's going to have a few players to deal with here, Jay.
Yeah, Standy's in a strong position. He's the one that's holding down the right push. His teammates are still going to be spawning over to the left. So this remaining 15 seconds is going to go in favor of Minnesota. Now it's all going to be on Standy. Can he hold down this position, shut down the pinch coming in? Big first gunfight goes to Banson. That's going to be careful because now Standy might be able to spawn all the way at bedroom.
And you can see exactly what that does. You can see what that does. They lose a member and then it puts Scrappy in a more difficult spot. Minnesota patient as ever. There goes the third member in a row. And it's on to Standy again. Thankfully he gets that close spot, but he gets dropped too. Rokkr clean and comfortable, rushing right in toward the lobby.
What a beautiful break from Minnesota. 35 seconds still here. They can get this remaining time. That can do wonders to how you turn out the rest of this game. As that's going to be Toronto finding every single kill in the feed. They flip the spawns, and now with the final 25, they get all of this. They will be able to take the lead right on back, and now it's just another rotation battle over towards Kitchen. Minnesota have to do better in their setups because we saw the way that Toronto were able to break it from the last time. One player pushed all the way around Platt. They slow played it from the front between Standy and Scrap. They won initial gunfights. Eventually walk away with the initial time. Very, very close hard point to start us.
It's like we're talking about one team, oh, you know, they allowed for the other to break. It's basically the exact same thing on the other side. And there we have it, another lead change. Minnesota, a slim advantage, but one nonetheless. As it's all about the battle inside of the kitchen, and Scrappy comes out on top. It really is the Toronto Bash Brothers coming to play. Standy and Scrap sporting some of the best KDs so far here in Major 1, and they come through right when Toronto needs them. A great little advantage starting to brew now. As Afro clean and comfortable, that strategy does work out, at least for a moment. Toronto there to make them pay. It was Standy and Scrappy to start it off, and it's CleanX and Insight to seal the deal.
And let me tell you, if CleanX is having himself a game number one, 24 and 19, usually when you're talking about CleanX, this is a guy who's just always going to do the dirty work. He's going to be the guy that's the aggressor, flies in first, always tries to get that time when he needs to. When he's playing like this Ultra squad is going to be complete. Now currently up by almost 40 points. You have to get back into this game with a great hold on desk. You have somewhat control of bedroom with as Bance is currently sitting towards bottom. Push is going to be in towards the back. A big gunfight coming from Standy. But Cammy at least finds twos to relieve some of that pressure.
Yeah, well, they're able to break through a little bit in the back, cause some pressure, and from there, Toronto, they do the rest of the job. Great coordination again from this newly formed Ultra roster. Now within just 20 seconds of closing this game out.
You have to break from the front. You have to go if you're Minnesota because they're getting closer and closer towards the finish line. They're ready, they're ironed up. That's a clean 4 dead. I don't think anyone's gonna have an opportunity to even touch the hill.
And they call for CleanX. Full green light, buddy, get going. Cause some problems in the break, and there you go. Scrappy getting loud already on the main stage. All Attach can do is smile and focus up, get ready for the S&D. As Senor Scrappy and Toronto Ultra strike first.
And this is Scrap's first game on main stage, right? It's his first game.
That's
the
right.
lights are the brightest, and he's still talking smack. I love this young man. What a performance of that first blood. 58% win rate. When they get that first blood, put themselves in that man advantage, but it's not going to be easy because they're going up against Toronto Ultra, who are great in 3v4 situations. So, Minnesota Rokkr, this is where they need to respond, and they're going to be the team on attack.
Yep, we'll see what they can do here off the start. Meanwhile, it is good old JB Craven, aka Insight, one of the more fun snipers to watch in the league. Now put in a position, well, to succeed. An unfortunate hit marker is not going to even out the man count that much more, but there you have it. A nice little nade over the top. Attach never saw it coming. 3v3, and Bance really puts the numbers toward the favor of Minnesota once more.
So now Rokkr in the 3v2 situation, trying to make sure no players from Ultra are going to be sitting inside that A site. Afro sitting alongside him. Close that door. Don't want to get any bad timings. He's going to be on standy. He's slowly trying to work his way up through the middle alley. Trying to get the timing onto where these players are going to be playing. 30 seconds, 35 seconds to work.
Working in tandem together. 30 seconds left. Standing, tosses out a nade. Says a prayer. Hunting, searching, eager for information. And right now, that's currency. Afro, great little angle, cuts down one. It is all on to Insight. He started off the round with a kill, and now he's going to have to end it off with 3. And best of luck, Minnesota hold true. They hold strong. And really, a lot of that came off of the first blood.
Yeah, the first blood comes in, but Insight responds immediately. I think the second kill that Bance was able to get as Clean is trying to push up towards the top flat. Try to get better positioning in top money. Once you take him down, you use your tax to open up that A site. You get the bomb down. Play your corners tight. Play for the trades. The Minnesota Rokkr take round 1.
Big round when we talk about momentum, again, coming off of that hardpoint loss. You can see the wheels are turning for everybody. That's the biggest thing about this Rokkr team too, man, is that you can really have all 4 players call out strats. All 4 players very confident when it comes down to the comms. Scrappy, well, he was part of the first blood engagement last time. In fact, it was a death. This time, it's a kill for him. And still open things up there versus Standy. Cammy, down on his belly, and you see the kill feed line up perfectly for Rokkr once more. Another quick 1v3 for Insight. Normally we'd be waving the white flag, but this is one of the clutchest players in the league in situations like this. Job done for the first, 2 more to go.
He has the stun to work with. Dead silence is about to be earned. As the bomb is going to be down towards bottom mid. So he's just going to take his time. Grab all the way back, try to catch a timing. Right now, the way that Minnesota are playing, the buddy system. It's going to be difficult to win both of these gunfights as they're both preparing for it.
And dead silence is going to be essential. That's exactly what he waits for, and now's the time to strike. You can hear everything inside of the warehouse. Now brings it to a 1v1. Cammy versus Insight. Oh, prior teammates, but Cammy able to stay alive and clutch it out in the 1v1. That's what we talk about, man. Insight, one of the clutchest players in the league. You can never doubt him. And he really made Cammy work for that too. Brought very low. Rokkr dodge a bullet.
Yeah, right there. Cammy just makes the play in that round, pushes up through courtyard, flanks through bottom double doors, finds that first kill, and then the second read onto the second player while laying down. That was a beautiful play by him. Turned it into a 3v1, and then Insight is a little bit hurt in that final engagement. Cammy's just able to challenge with that fast and up close. Able to close it out. Minnesota up 2-0, and Cammy with that SMG, he's like a speed demon right now.
See what we can do. Oh, he's feeling all kinds of confidence. That Vazda, man, it's hit. We're hearing all kinds of players talk about. All right, well, the M4's gone. It's an SMG's world already. See what he can do with it. Put it to good use. Meanwhile, on the other side, Standy and co. Holding firm. Quick engagement. Cammy having to put that Vaznev to use. However, it's Kleenex on the other side, who ends up dropping him to start. So offensive team loses a man off the rip. And you've got a nice little straggler in Kleenex trying to make a play toward the back. Attach is aware of it.
That silence is going to now run out for Kleenex and Standy. But Kleenex is able to find the second. Now in a 4v2. All left up to Attach and Vance. Vance is at least able to take down one. Attach is just trying to pick one off, knowing that multiple players from Ultra are roaming around his spawn. Standy still has not moved from top money. Vance is that bomb carry. He might be able to rotate this over towards inside spots him. Inside spots him, makes it a 3v1. All left up to Attach, and he popped the Deddy.
And there's a lot to do if you are Dylan Price.
Oh my.
Puts in some good shots, but at the end of the day, not gonna happen. A nice little smile there out of the Great Dane. And for good reason, Toronto just grabbed their first round.
Great plays from CleanX. I'm pretty sure he finds 3 on the round. Works his way up this alley. Challenges towards the top base, takes down Cammy. Then once that dead silence runs out, he also takes down Afro. Great patience right there from Ultra to finally get one on the board.
And that's just really one of the many strengths that this Toronto Ultra team has. Like, you got Standy, who can be a menace. I mean, we even know the numbers that he was able to put up with Bomb in his hand last season. You gotta worry about CleanX up close, constantly in your face. Insight with the snipe. Scrappy in general is just a problem on every single game mode, it feels like. A lot of weapons, a lot of tools in the shed. If you are the Toronto Ultra, as Minnesota have to give away their first. And Insight is back out with the sniper. He and Cammy got to be aware of each other's play styles, given their long tenure together. He's got the pistol out, stuns there, and great work from Insight. Pulls out the pistol and makes it work. Very close gunfight, but a nice little one to win. Cammy gets aggressive, and Insight's there to make him pay. Toronto with numbers, 45 seconds still to work with.
Vance finds one, makes it a 3v3. So now it's 40 seconds left. What do Toronto try to do? It's looking like Insight's gonna try to take control of top radio tower. Still thinks that attaches in the positioning on those towards the steps. Standy does invest that dead silence. Slowly gonna push up towards the middle alley. Cracks being watched from Vance, but he's gonna make the door. Standy finds that kill. So now that bomb is gonna immediately get planted over towards B. Attach gonna be the play to try to slow it down.
They have to plant this quick. I mean, Attach, can he make his way through the setup? No, he's gonna have to go through Scrappy in order to get to the bomb. Afro quickly called upon. Feels like every single round has come down to a 1v3, and now it is time for good old Marcus to throw his hat in the ring. What has he got in store for us? Does he have a clutch? Does he have an impactful round to provide us with? A big moment right now for the squad. Goes off the sound cue, not able to find it. Toronto adapts. They get really 2 players in either lane, making sure things are clear. They rotate that bomb, and it is curtains from that point on. Nobody able to rush through the Toronto trio.
It all comes on the first blood. Like Cammy, he hit the same exact play that very first defensive round and is able to find 3. This time Insight is able to spot him with the sniper. Cammy plays it super aggressive. Once you use those tacticals to the best of your ability, stun connects, you find that first kill, and then you slowly start to work up towards the opposite site. As Minnesota had to change their setup around, Toronto Ultra are able to take that one with ease. Now 2-2.
We've been seeing a lot of action toward the outside. The reason for that change is just because of the way the LSCO works. Like, if you don't have dead silence, it just feels like you are in a world of trouble. This has been Standy's play so far. Constantly just looking over toward the office, looking over at money. The bomb does get planted quickly there for Rokkr, so an instant job to do if you're Toronto, and the only player past that 50-yard line is going to be Standy. Gives out the sound cue. Rest of the teammates now begin to converge. Tosses out the stun for information. If you look at those really outlines, a few players that are out of the play, time continues to tick. Nobody has fallen. However, Afro ends up taking down a teammate in the process, so a trade that ultimately favors Toronto. And Standy puts another away. Attached. It is all on to him, and that bomb is in the middle of being defused. Great coordination again there for Ultra.
That was just beautiful patience right there. They were like, all right, you can plant that bomb out there. We're not going to be really worried about it. But then they were just checking out every single corner. Once Standy pushes up towards top money and realizes no one's going to be sitting top their spawn, they have to be double stacking the site. You eliminate both of those players, you can just instantly defuse. If Standy was going to work towards that flank and towards bottom pool, finds that kill win. Just a beautiful retake right there from Ultra to play it super patient. Now up 3-2.
I believe that's 3 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
I want to say as well for Toronto. You see everybody on streaks. Insight and Scrap on 3, Standy at 2 in a row. See what they have cooked up for us next. It just feels like it's going to be a battle all the way to the end of this S&D, man. Like, You've got franchises that have just seen so much success, players that have been at the top of those S&D leaderboards for years. We'll see if Toronto can maybe pull a fast one versus their longtime rivals in Rokkr. Is it Scrappy? Looking for the long-range shot. Cammy eager to pull up the sniper. He put that one to good use. However, it's Insight on the other side, who ends up dropping Bance. A much-needed reply, but it's going to have to be the pistol. Scrappy and Kleenex with great team fire end up dropping the second kill. It is snipers in more ways than one, causing problems for Rokkr off the rip. And the least attached makes things a little easier, but only for a moment. Insight again. Problem to deal with. And Afro seized and conquered. It maybe gets juked out. Maybe ankle's broken a little bit there.
Just another patient round right there from Ultra. Once Scrap finds himself towards top radio tower, he was able to spot 2 players in the top of the opponent's base. That's what sets up Insight to pre-aim towards the window, finds that first blood. And unfortunately, Cammy gets that hit marker onto Standy. And he gets taken down. I thought once Attach was able to find that first kill, 3v2, bomb's gonna be down, but then Insight hits him with another snipe, makes it a 3v1. And then just finds that final kill, sitting at 8-2 on a 5 spree. 1 more kill, so he earns that airstrike.
And if you're Rokkr, I mean, that's gotta be one of the many things you're trying to prioritize right now. Afro getting in a fight nice and early, but it's Kleenex who's able to strike first. Vance out of the picture. It's one of your main SMGs who is gonna be hunting early throughout the warehouse.
Bomb is gonna be down too. So much information Kleenex is just able to gather. Just play this super patient. I think potentially we might have a magic door. Nope, not able to spot him, but Scrap is able to work his way towards the top, finds that kill onto Cammy. Kleenex finds the third. Now it's all left up to Attach. Great at clutch and in search and destroy, but 1v4 is never easy. And Toronto Ultra, 5 straight rounds in this search and destroy is now going to put them at game point.
What do you feel like has been the most impressive thing? Like
First bloods.
First bloods, that's it?
Yeah, because Minnesota, they tend to struggle when they're in a man disadvantage. In the 3v4s, at that point, you're all slowing down. You're trying to at least even up the numbers, but when Toronto's not giving you anything to work with, now you're forced to be the playmaker. And when that happens, they are ready for the gunfight at any given moment. And they are just picking them apart one by one. Minnesota need an answer.
Yeah, they do. And you talk about the first blood conversation. Well, whenever they're trying to go for those first bloods, it feels like they're getting sniped constantly, or it's Insight stunning you and pistol whipping you in the side. Rokkr released 5 rounds straight, and now we've got some streaks on the back of a few members for Toronto. Scrappy, aware of the instant position. He's lost one of his teammates, but see if that can be something to get Rokkr back in this game. Standy goes bye-bye. But it is your 2 guys who have been very, very solid so far throughout this S&D, and Insight and Scrappy left. See if this new duo, this new tandem together can pull off something special.
50 seconds. No dead silence for Scrap. He's going to push his way in towards bottom mid. He's trying to play for a couple players who are playing towards this A site. You see where Insight is doing. He pops that dead silence. He's going to be able to take control of radio tower. Just there's only 30 seconds left on the clock. You have to eventually pick up this bomb, at least find a couple kills, and get the bomb planted. They're just trying to work this flank. Taking your sweet time is going to be Scrap. The death silence is about to come in.
Steady popped. Here they go. Both members on the prowl. Early engagement's going to mean everything. First blood in terms of this fight is going to be gained. Scrappy, eager, has to go searching, has to go hunting. He's able to drop another. Afro tagged up, but can't be killed through the wall. Rokkr are able to close it out, and a lot of it comes down to, man, it just feels like they waited a little too long. They were waiting for that dead silence, which is understandable, but if one of you falls, the round is instantly over. Minnesota with numbers, and called it again, my friend. First blood. I know they technically found the second blood as well, but still, all about the early game. Rokkr will finally be able to end that 5-round-in-a-row streak. Down 5-3. We'll see what they can provide us with, but problem being, they've got a streak to worry about.
Yeah, if you have a streak to worry about, it's looking like this bomb is definitely going to go over towards that A site. I would like to see Minnesota do exactly what they did in the previous attacking round, was just instantly getting that bomb down towards A. They ended up getting 4v4 retook. And slowly, the bomb is going to start approaching towards this B site. Just got to keep in mind that airstrike can come in, but Afro is able to find that first blood.
Oh, wow, it's Scrappy, just a few pixels to shoot at. Makes quick work of Cammy. Meanwhile, it's Standy as well. Finding one over to attach Afro and Bance. Huddling inside of the garage. They've got Toronto players looming everywhere. Scrappy with no daddy. He's got to take his time. He can't reveal his position. Afro, who's going to win the fight? Who's going to win the fight? It's Afro to remain true. Insight cannot take him down with the pistol. Standy able to line one up, and Toronto line him up and knock him down. They conquer their way through the bomb site and win 6 of our last 7 rounds. Now up 2-0 in this bad boy board to make the influential capture or defensive play, whatever it may be. Who do you feel like it has to be, lead by example for Minnesota?
It has to be Bance for me.
Bance,
This is the guy who's the playmaker for this Rokkr squad. We know what Afro is going to do. He's always going to put himself in a position to be that slaying SMG. But if Bance can hit his routes, play like a rat in some corners, just simply play his life and hold down power positions, he's going to be the guy that I'm looking at.
Okay. Bance the player to look out for Rokkr as they will start things off here on the attacking end. Beginning and staring up at that, well, big hill to follow. Down 0-2. LCO control, I'll tell you what, man. I mean, it feels like we're seeing more offensive victories here and there. Last year it was all about the defense. This year, a little bit different. Quite a few picks early on. Toronto seeing success in the early game. Those first initial fights still favoring them. Rokkr right now struggling to get out of their base, and first job is deciding on, hey, which zone do we want to go to? Feels like all the arrows beginning to focus in toward A. The only player that sits in their sights right now is Kleenex, causing havoc as they run there.
He's just staying alive. He's just finessing around the map, just wasting time off of that clock. Afro finds that kill onto Standy, so at least able to stop the time for now. Slowly just trying to finesse Kleenex. Eventually it finds him, takes him down, and nothing to show so far for Minnesota. You have to get out of your spawn. Big kill coming in from Bance. Now you have a little bit of radio tower control. Start putting pressure on towards that.
Kleenex causing problems again for Minnesota, and now Standy's the one to hit the flank. They have no idea that he's here. Afro, the sole man in the point, has attached there for a bit of cover fire, so you're able to stop the point, stop the clock for the moment. 13 and some change. Rokkr battling. Few players off of spawn. We'll see if Toronto looks to make a late hit. Scrappy tosses out the utility, attach once more. There for the cover fire again. And Afro, really big job to do. Watch the front, just make sure nobody comes over toward you from the top side. It appears that the late hit is in here for Ultra. Last few players alive inside of the objective will look to lock things down. Maybe not. Maybe not. Here comes Scrappy. Can he close it out? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Dies by the nade, but Bance is here for the buzzer beater. Comes out clutch for the roster, and really Jake didn't do anything for the fight. He just happened to be the only guy off spawn.
So now if you're Toronto, you have to hold strong at this B point. Bance is able to finesse his way. Unfortunately, the trade is going to be there from Scrap. Just right now, a lot more map control on the side of Toronto Ultra. Insight in that positioning towards top green. He's going to force all of Minnesota to start to overextend, try to push the courtyard, try to work around that flank, and Ultra are ready for it. Kleenex the player towards bottom middle. At least find one before the trade is in. Just keep in mind, as long as they're controlling green, they will consistently spawn over towards Cliff. Makes it a little bit more easier to defend this B site.
And it's all about, right, that 3, that 4 down.
Ooh, good
Bance,
shots.
great long-range shots with the Baznev. Talk about an uphill battle, but he just took down a player who's at the top of the hill. Afro with a great opener, focusing on the spawns, trying to eliminate a few members off of that quick rotation. Minnesota locking down the seconds. It's gonna have to be Bance, who again comes out clutch on the force spree, and here they come. The stack is in. They can capture this fast. Toronto, they've got to do something. They've got some utility. Do they have the time? Here comes Kleenex, but not gonna happen. Rokkr come out hot in the opening attack, and it is all about Bance in round 1.
That's the same exact thing that they did the last time that they played this map. The only difference is it was in the round number 5. They get on that A point with about 12 seconds left. Able to close that out, and then they only have a minute to work with. They completely disregard the player that's in green. You push it through middle. Bance finds that initial kill. And you see he doesn't give up that positioning. He knows that once he finds that kill towards 10, they are now going to spawn all the way towards the left side. He finds a spawn kill. He allows his teammates to get out of the base. Their last focus was the player on the green. and they clutch up on the attack.
Yeah, just instant awareness of the spawns, and that's really what makes Vance such a valuable asset to any team that's on, whether it's Toronto previously or Minnesota now. Great awareness from him. They will look to try to bring that momentum now here into round number 2. Now on the defense goes Rokkr, Toronto on the attack. And Afro, it just feels like he can be the player to cause lots of problems inside of the warehouse. However, Toronto off to a nice start. Danny dodges the fight somehow. Relives, goes for the chow. Cammy eventually does shut him down. A lot of presence here for Toronto early. They've got 2.5 captures. And in the meanwhile, given those spawns, they're over at the top side of the map. It's Scrappy trying to lead the charge, take a few players on the rotation.
Oh, now this is gonna get scary, because you have to at least take him down from this position. They're trying to attack over towards B. Kleenex is gonna get traded by Afro. So now, if you are Toronto, you have to slow this one down. You have to wrap back over towards that A point. Even though Scrappy's doing a great job of just staying alive on this side of the map, trades are gonna be abound. Insight now, player pushing up through field. As Standy finds one through bottom middle, Standy's gonna be able to stop that clock by hopping on that A point. Should be allowing Insight to slowly try to get more better positioning over towards this field side.
Yeah, really, as long as he's here, it's just gonna consistently distract the Minnesota Rokkr, and they may try to just shock this one, maybe just send one last player to go for a chow. It's gonna be attached. If you win it, great. If not, not the biggest deal in the world, but Afro on that rotation, able to cause some problems as he drops yet again another lovely little double on the head of Toronto, and maybe a triple. Nope, not gonna happen this time. 15 seconds to go. Toronto a decision to make, and it looks like that decision very well may be made for them. Insight literally just ran past the player. Toronto still looming, or excuse me, Minnesota rather, still looming. Hanging out toward A. Toronto get it regardless. 2 players off the spawn. They're able to stack, and they add an extra minute to the clock.
Extra minutes of the clock, and Standy and Kleenex are able to find 2. Fortunately, Inset does drop. And Attach currently sitting at top AC finds another one, so you cannot play for these spawn kills if you're Standy. Try to hold this bottom middle, find that initial kill, allow your teammates to eventually try to push up through bottom mid. It's only 45 seconds to work with. Standy just ran out of that dead silence, and Attach is still holding strong with that tag.
Oh, trying to find a little bit of a gap in the setup, but Rokkr holds true. In fact, if you take a look at the top right of your screen, there is one player who has managed to slip the net. Just behind enemy lines right now is Scrappy. Vance is able to clear the way. You see that indicator at the top of the screen. 4 lives now make it 3 left for Toronto. Only 3 segments to their name. And as they continue to get whittled away, it will be a round here for Minnesota. Clawing it back. Got that momentum after that opening attacking round, and they bring it here to the defense as well.
Minnesota just clutched up right there. Like, I'm pretty sure it was about 12 seconds again at that A point. Cammy was able to go on in, find 3, shut down that pressure before he eventually does get traded. And then when they need to hold strong at that B point, you had the ARs ready and set up. Attach was able to win every single gunfight from top AC. They had control of green. They control all the entire left side of the map. And you force Minnesota to try to overextend, and Vance was ready for it. Minnesota, looking like a well-oiled machine on this Asila.
Yeah, they look very well composed, despite being down 0-2. They find themselves now up 2-0. And really, you're in uncharted territory if you're Toronto, right? I mean, they have literally gone on a 5-game control winning streak. A few of those 3-0s as well. So if you're Toronto, again, being down 0-2, maybe not a familiar spot for them. Regardless, Rokkr locking things down over at A. Cammy, in fact, has earned the spree, does fall at 6 in a row. So while he does fall, there's at least a little bit of purchase. Shout out to Ton for that one. Well, minute down. Not a whole lot of ticks to work with, Jay. What do you want to see him do here for Rokkr?
If you're Minnesota, let's just go get that 8 point done and dusted. Close that one out, or at least try to find an initial 2-piece to open up one of these points. It's looking like it's going to fall into the hands of Afro. With the flank, finds that first kill onto Insight. Great shots, not able to pick up the kill on the Standy, but he sets up Vance. Unfortunately, Vance is the only player in that position, so 35 seconds left, nothing to show for it. You have to hop on that point, at least complete some segments.
Let's make it work for it at the very least. Attached, just because they're consistently evaluating the flank, and Well, Toronto, Minnesota, they've been able to find a few kills in the flank. It just hasn't amounted to anything. Finally, they will be able to halt that time from moving. 22 seconds. Pause for the moment, but Afro, he gets made quick work of. Well, Toronto, you were down 2-0. You needed to see some sort of life, a bit of a reply. And so far, it has been exactly that. Every single player from Minnesota was huddled inside of that white building. Maybe a last-ditch effort to try to get to the objective. Scrappy there to clean house for another. And that time will whittle away. Granted, you're down, but Toronto, best reply that you could have had.
Yeah, that was a very strong defensive round right there from Toronto, especially not to allow any segments, which is now going to put them down by 3. Obviously, they need to win this next round to force that round number 5, but if they close out both points, they will guarantee themselves that defense.
You said down 3?
Down 3.
All right. It's definitely doable. I mean, there's no doubt.
I just think the way that you need to play this if you're Ultra is to make sure when you close out, when you attack towards that A point, they started off with a bunch of initial kills, but then they just completely disregarded it once they thought that they were going to get it for free. Cammy didn't give it up, but looks like pressure's going to be all out through the middle of the map. Afro at least finds the first. Kleenex is able to find himself that airstrike. That could be crucial as we get towards the key part of this game.
Yeah, we'll see. Toronto, they tried their hand over at that A zone. And to no surprise, right? They're aware of the scoreline as well. Hey, we cap A, cool. Instantly off the rip. All we got to do is just capture one more, and we're in a good spot at the least. Well, Minnesota read it. They shut them down, and from there, it is Toronto back to the drawing board, off a spawn. And oftentimes, it's going to be called upon to Kleenex to try to find a few of those early engagements. Well, he does get made quick work of. It at least sets his teammates up for the trade, and now calls upon to Standy, the other SMG duo, to help try to set up a little bit of a lane. Only man in ear's distance of this right now is Afro. Toronto, they've got everybody focused on this A zone.
Everyone focuses. Standy finds himself in a great position to take down the first and attach. Now he just has to be ready for the pinch because you know Afro's going to strike. The trade does come in. The second tick is already here. Fans and Cammy, they combined for all 3, able to get him off of that point. You see the map control started going in favor of Minnesota. You push out green, you're going to consistently spawn them out towards back yellow. Fans, you just want to play your life here. At least try to stay alive as long as you can.
Oh, when fans can start to go on a spree, that could be huge. You instantly see he looks toward his teammate's screen, trying to give a few call-outs. Be aware of the positioning for Toronto. So well aware of the strategies that exist on the other side. And regardless of it, Ultra, they managed to get enough forces, enough reinforcements over at that A zone. Extra minute added on to the clock. And what could be the final minute and a half of this map. Toronto with still a lot of work to do. But they do have quite a few players established already toward that field.
Keep in mind, they still have an airstrike to work with. They already pushed up towards white trucks. Trying to take the player off top, they see that's a big kill. Cammy does find a trade. But Vance is going to be the playmaker, slowly trying to work his way in towards back green. I don't know if Insight was able to pick up that sound cue. He's going to be ready for it. No, he's not. Vance stays alive in this position, and just with him being here, it's going to cause some problems. They're able to take him down. Only 50 seconds to work with if you're Ultra. Oh, got to try to open it up potentially with this airstrike.
See what they can do about it. Last-ditch effort, 40 seconds on the clock. Scrap trying to make the play. Tagged up, but not dropped as of yet. Trying to use those boxes to the best of his ability. Standy popping dead silence. Desperately trying to get back in the fight. Get as many eyes on this spawn from Minnesota as you can. And Standy could be the player to make the play. He eventually does get fouled, but Kleenex able to drop one. Vance still being a nuisance around the garage side. That's one tick done. Can they reach the second? Very smart play from Insight to not just avoid the streak, but to also prioritize his life. He could be the difference maker now. Staying alive. That could maybe be the second one. Kleenex is there for the pickup. That's 2 down.
Still have the spawns right now if you're Minnesota, spawning all towards the back right cliff. Now it all falls into the hands of Standy. 12 seconds. Someone has to get on that point. 5 lives remaining for Ultra. They're able to stop that clock. The second tick is going to be in, but Vance is able to take down Scrap. Afro holds the iron up. He's able to take down Standy. That's going to be 3. Last player up is going to be Insight. And this is looking like a clean 3-0 from the Rokkr.
It's going to be a solid answer here from the Rokkr in control. Down 0-2 in the series, but they are not going anywhere. compose as you'd like. And to be honest with you, buddy, this is what we expect from this Minnesota team. Well tenured, a lot of veterans on this roster. And they control, well, our game number 3. And also, end out the streak from Toronto. That was 5 games in a row going. They cut that mightily. And as you take a look at the scoreboard, what name maybe stands out the most to you?
It's definitely Vance, man. 25 and 22. He had multiple clutch plays every single time they needed to save that 8 point. It was Vance.
Maybe a little bit of their moxie. And what has been one of the best rivalries in the entire CDL since its infancy. These two teams continue to duel, they continue to battle. And we'll see if this has got another legendary map in store for what has already been an incredible story between these two. As it's Toronto with the early time, but Minnesota with a great 3 down, make it 4 down to start.
And that's the spawn's already gonna flip. So now if you're Toronto Ultra, you do a great job of at least getting some time off of P1. But now your objective is to control the spawn towards back parking lot. You already see the route coming in from Kleenex, trying to set up that pinch coming in from Kitchen. Because they slowly play it and try to hold this one down. Ultras are able to get back on the time. Vance is able to take him right off. And final 15 seconds, it's all going to be over towards that P2, and Cammy's going to be the first one here.
Yep, Cammy spawned up. He's here. However, Kleenex has been hitting the hottest flank, it feels like, for about, well, 5 minutes now. This is about a 1v1 that's getting ready to happen. Tosses up the nade to Vaznev, maybe not in the more preferred spot, but this is a huge battle for spawns. Catches Cammy lacking, and with that being the case, Afro runs right through the door, shuts him down. It is Toronto with a few more players off the spawn quickly, but Afro! Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Puts him in the dirt. Goes clutch for the team when they have to win those kills. He wins out for the roster, and now they've got the more preferred positioning and a great little advantage going here at the parking lot.
Yeah, this is the best setup right now for Minnesota. You're gonna force all of Ultra to try to attack this from Orange. And that's another clean 4 dead. Now Ultra are still going to spawn out towards back alley. They probably have to cut their losses here. We have to make sure we're rotating towards top AC, and it's none other than Vance. Unfortunately, cannot win that gunfight. But what a start to this hard point from Minnesota. A full 60 hold on this P2. It's going to give them a comfortable lead to hit this next hill. Potentially find a couple breaks. They got a little bit to work with now.
Oh, and Afro, you can tell it. He's just feeling it. He's feeling it right now. Tagged up from either side. Maybe we can be a little bit of a distraction. However, not the case. A clean 4 down there for Ultra. That's exactly what you want to have, considering that that door was slammed straight in your face over at P2. No time to speak for. But now over at the ACs, all clear. Right now from the Ultra. Scrappy trying to have his impact in this game number 4, trying to put Minnesota to bed. He eventually falls. Minnesota on the prowl. 35 still to go.
35 still to go, but right now Toronto Ultra doing a great job of maintaining the spawn going into the next hill. Vance is staying alive through back alley. He's trying to time the climb up towards the top. But eventually the break does come in for Minnesota. Scrapping some great shots. Unfortunately, he's not able to take them off for that time. So Minnesota are going to continue to get the remaining chunk time. Afro already on a 5 spree. Astro's in my Afro. He's frying to start this one off.
He is, man. This guy is feeling it. Wanting to deliver a dub for his teammates in a revenge type of match. Starting to go off. Heads into the office on the 5 spree. This next kill would be huge. Can he find the 6th? And you can see, man, Toronto, they've got 3 players. They've got 3 players who are just trying to limit this guy. A handful and a half as Afro eventually gets put to bed, and now Toronto can begin to seize a few of these seconds. A late break over at ACs now values this next hard point that much more for Ultra, and currently, Jay, they're cleaning house.
Yeah, Ultra holding strong right now, even though they did lose a couple gunfights. This fight just went massive to find that initial kill and stay alive. So this has been a great hold for Ultra to get themselves right back into this game. It's looked like Minnesota is still going to put pressure on, and you don't want to put too much because we're going over to a money hill. You have to make sure you get over towards Kitchen, and it's all going to fall into the hands of Kleenex. In the 2v1, he's not going to play in towards the point. He's going to play a nice little corner outside. Just going to wait for his teammates to try to assist him, but the break never comes in. Ultra take the lead.
It's really the SMG for Ultra that are here early. Bansville, he'll wipe away one of them. And it's Afro who takes care of the other. Great work. Coming in from Rokkr, we thought for a moment, maybe prioritizing that last hard point a little bit too much, however. Able to make good on it. Now it could be Cammy to try to be one of the layers to cause some issues for Toronto off the spawn. But Minnesota here at the kitchen early. And surprisingly, it's a small hill, but you can grab quite a few points on it. Rokkr showing us exactly why that is the case. So far, man, it feels like this has been the guy on our screen 90% of the time, and for good reason. 16-7 right now from Afro. He is feeling himself. 17-7, a 4 spree, and now has put his team very much so in the lead as he cannot be taken down.
What a hold. What a hold from Minnesota to get themselves back into this game. Full 60 from Ultra at P3. Full 60 now at this P4. For Minnesota to now be up by almost 50 points. Great shots from Afro. He's not missing anything. He's trying to force this game 5 already, almost at 20 kills with the fast nav in hand. Having himself one hell of a map. But now we find ourselves on the second rotation of hardpoints. Inside and Kleenex are able to find 3. Now you have to stay alive if you're attached, because now the spawns are going to get a little freaky. They're going to spawn over towards that middle tennis side, and Ultra just doing a great job of just soaking as much time as they can off P1.
Yeah, what you could see, I mean, Attach wants to definitely tag up a few players for the bottom side, but he's definitely trying to have a few members join him to try to get over toward top gas, get a little bit of something going, maybe even earn the time on top of it. Well, that doesn't happen. Currently, it is Toronto with those preferred spawns, doing a good job at really starting to get involved in the fights. And man, I'll tell you what, it's Standy's starting to wake up. Kleenex doing the same. They've started to chip away at that advantage already.
Now this is where Ultra need to make the adjustments. Last time it was a full 60 hold coming in from Rokkr, but this time around, Scrapping Insider in a great position to at least hold the push coming in from Street. Hill was not gonna pop. Standy gonna be on it. Unfortunately, Standy was standing on top of the planter, so he gives up his life for free. And Cammy finds 3. He knows exactly where the last player is, but Insight plays it beautifully, finds that kill, and at least maintains a little bit of that map control. Even though his squad is not getting time, he's keeping them off of that point. 40 seconds still on this P2.
Oh, you feel so bad. Like, man, just get on the objective, man, but he's got so many angles to watch. There's been at least 15 seconds that have gone to waste because he can't get anybody inside of the objective. I mean, at the very least, you're not giving it to Toronto, but you do want to hop on what is a money hill. When we talk about Embassy, Danae tossed out a big battle to win in Toronto, although at least clean it out for the moment. It is really all about this battle now toward the ACs. Rokkr with the preferred spawns. A bit of a slower game from Standy, trying to turn things around. Currently -7. What an impact it would be if he could be the man to find a few kills in a row. And there you have it. A few begin to fall. The last player alive is Afro. Maybe can set up his teammate for success, but it's not going to happen. Afro is a man on fire. Another 3 spree and a rotation 1 solely because of him.
That one's got to hurt right there for your Ultra. You find 3 kills off the rotation. The only player you got to take down is Afro, but he takes down 3 of your side. So now Minnesota are able to win this rotation battle. Vance, unfortunately, is going to get caught throwing that trophy. The pinch is going to be here. Afro can only take down 1. So the break comes in from Ultra. Final 30 seconds. They're in control of the next hill as well at PD. So Attach in towards the top is just going to take his time, at least try to leave some of that pressure on Old Hill.
You do see player number 4, player number 2, Scrappy and Kleenex. They do get wiped away, rather their teammates get wiped away, but it does generate them close spawns for new. So in some ways, you'll take that. If you're Toronto, you get wiped away the last 15 seconds of ult, that's cool. We got everybody hanging out now inside of the office. Maybe an early Christmas party at this point. Attached to the top side, it felt like he was in the more advantageous spot. He eventually does get wiped away. Toronto given the advantage, and they will seize it. Afro trying to be the man to make the play. What can he do right now for Rokkr? Trying to beam toward the outside. He eventually gets dropped, and from there, Toronto will seize control. Let's step aside, and in fact, goes to Aliston with the Ultra Boys.
Get it. 3-dar. Climb it up top, climb it up top.
H1, go on H2.
Might have hit the back. I have 3-dar, by the way.
Could be H1, okay?
2 3-dar, 2 H1. No, H1. Oh, H1, last guy. H1. Rotate us one.
Alright, he's old.
We're looking for one. Looking for one, by the way.
Let's get it new, Just
I think it's a new already. Nice.
Give me the one.
Yeah. Watch out, Toby. I'm playing your cap.
I just said, come on, boys.
I want sack time. Sack towards time.
One point two.
That could already be
Street.
Street. Okay. I can help you, like, I have a shoulder.
Come on, this. Off hold.
What's
going orange? What's going orange?
I have your cap.
They don't have trophies here. They're just gonna hit us.
Close.
Laundry.
Nice three.
Last guy
Let's
right
go.
Let's go, Toby.
I'm not tripping out.
Get there.
Push up right.
Nice. Get in. Get laundry. Get the first blood here. Come on.
I have all right, okay?
Confident, they're starting to feel good. It was really composure that eventually led to eruption. Let's now head it to the other side. Minnesota Rokkr in a big spot. Let's go to their comms now.
Laundry got me.
Laundry,
I'll
then
come
on
back
top.
kill. Come back kill. Just one time now. One time now.
I've hit.
Wait, do back door. There's 2 spawn zig then. 2 spawn zig, 2 on hill.
Yeah, one's fucking God.
Yeah.
Red.
Right over the door.
Listen, we have to play this. They win at this.
No.
He's gone zig.
You need to get 1 second. We need to get us 1 second. He's coming back door on you.
Yeah, just sound there. I can't go.
Could he palm on us probably?
You have to go.
Yeah, he's laundry.
Bro.
Gonna happen for them. Toronto erupting on the stage as they get their revenge. Taking down the Rokkr boys. We heard the comms. It felt like there was something going. It felt like they had a bit of momentum, but Toronto